Hello everybody. On June 4th of 2015, my family and I got a call that was just heart-wrenching. We found out that my niece, my sister's daughter Amber, right here, passed away from an accidental overdose. The steps after, besides the crying, collapsing at the call, and just disbelief and shock, we're planning a funeral for a 24-year-old. Not something that you want to do, and some of the people here understand that and have been through that. Amber was a wonderful person. She was intelligent. She was a free spirit. She was a very creative person and loved to help people. I had many wonderful talks with her as I dealt with my anxiety, and she would actually help me deal with anxiety while she was battling this, and I was trying to help her. I talked last year about Amber right here, months after she passed away, and I was honored to come back again because I really believe in what we're doing here. We need to raise awareness. It's beginning, it's starting, but we need to continue. We are losing too many people to overdoses. Heroin is being laced with fentanyl. It's being laced very strong. People are becoming addicted from pain pills. They're being a legitimate reason. They get their back hurt, they get their leg hurt, they may be suffering anxiety and having to deal with legal prescribed medication. They end up being cut off of this medication, and then at that point they are already addicted to it. They then have to go out and find something. Whenever you're trying to come down from a dope sickness, it's horrible. I personally don't know it, but I know from watching Amber through it. I remember having to fly her back from Florida vacation because she was dope sick, and I just didn't want to believe that was what was going on. I wanted to believe that it was just her being sick and she needed to be home, not that it was an actual addiction that was causing the problem. June 4th, my eyes were open, and unfortunately it was way too late. That I knew she had a problem, but I didn't think it was as bad as it was. I never believed that she was actually using heroin. I figured she might have just been smoking marijuana or drinking. Nothing big deal. No big deal is what I thought. Well, I was dead wrong. She tried to go through treatment. She was trying to recover, and that day was actually June 3rd when she was feeling sick, craving, and whenever you get dope sick, you need it. You just get a feeling inside of you that you have to have it. It's like breathing. When you become addicted to these drugs, it is a physical addiction that you just have to have. And she ended up getting one dose, and that was our last dose. Sadly, it made her pass and triggered the events that followed with having the funeral, the heartbreak that my sister, my family, and I went through. She was like a daughter to me and my wife. She was like a sister to my daughters. She was very, very protective of her cousins. She thought of them as her grandparents. I'm sorry, I'm being waved about her grandparents. Of course, her grandparents. She was very protective about her cousins. She thought of them as her little sisters, her nieces. She would do anything to take care of them and to help them out, and she was very protective. She was an artist. She loved to draw. I have pictures on my wall still from when she drew, and beautiful pictures. I'm just amazed at what she was capable of doing. She wanted to help people, like I said. The heartache that comes after is long and hard. It's been a little bit over a year now. I still think about her every single day. I'm not going to. She was part of my life. She will always be part of my life. It's not something you want to do, going to visit somebody you love that dearly at that young of an age at a cemetery. You want to be able to see them. You have to fight to make a difference with them. I've been seeing a lot with the FedUp Rally. I was really touched by everything I heard, as well as starting over here, Not One More, and some other organizations. They're really trying to raise awareness. There are a lot of volunteers out there trying. People in AA, NA, Al-Anon, they're trying to make a difference. They are trying to help. One thing I've found from learning about this disease is as people are recovering, they care more than anybody I have seen. They are willing to do anything to help somebody that's struggling from this addiction. But then we have people that do not understand addiction that just look down on them. They look at them as a junkie. They look at, I've actually heard about people being put down at funerals because, oh, they died of an overdose. What did you do wrong? It's not what you did wrong. Addiction affects everybody. Addiction does not discriminate, poor or rich, black, white, whatever. It affects everybody. It does not matter, and we need to make a difference. We need to have empathy. We need to help people. We need to show love. You know, the people in recovery are showing it. I have seen it time and time again. The people that are normal or not suffering do not. They raise their nose up and they look down on people. We cannot have that. We need to make a difference. The time to act is now. Just like we just heard, 2015 was a record number for overdose deaths in this country as well as in Pennsylvania here. Right here in Pennsylvania and in Pittsburgh. 2016 is looking to be a bigger number year. Our neighbors right up in Ohio had, I believe it was 78 overdose deaths in a matter of 3 days. 3 days. That is not far from here, and that is coming here. To think it's not coming here and to think it's not going to affect you, you're wrong. It is affecting everybody. They say that 10 people are affected by one overdose death. 10 people. Well, you also read that in the United States right now, we are looking at 129 people dying every single day. So that's what, 12,000, I'm sorry, my math's not working for me. It's a lot of people, let's just say it that way. Yeah, there's a lot of people affected. It could be your friends, it could be your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your grandparents. Yes, grandparents. They get hurt, they end up getting hooked, and then they get cut. Doctors are overprescribing these medicines. Yes, they did try to send a memorandum out to stop this. They have the opioid database now in effect. But doctors are also part of it. They're not the only ones. They are not the only ones. People start this on their own and they get hooked. That happens, yes. But once you get hooked, you are hooked. And it takes a lot of strength to fight this. To be looked down upon is not going to help it. Whenever I talked last year, I had 3 goals that I thought were actually very relevant and easy for anybody to do. Each individual person, I believe, could do these 3 goals. And if each of us would work on these 3 goals, we can make a difference. The first is to end the stigma. It's very simple. If you yourself can end the stigma and look at that person with empathy, try to put yourself in that person's place, you can help that. The stigma is pushing people away from rooms to get help. They're pushing families away that are trying to struggle with addiction. Because it's not only the addict that's suffering, it's also the family of the addict. I know, my family knows, getting calls at 2, 3 in the morning from your loved one is not fun. It's not fun. Or, the worst part is, you're actually in the middle of the night waiting for that call. You're waiting for that door to open for them to come home. Are they going to make it today? Or am I going to get a call from the police saying that they're no longer here? It takes everybody. If we could all end the stigma and put ourselves into each other's place, that is one step. I believe that would make a huge difference. The other is to educate people. Events like this right here, to educate people about what is going on, not only about the current epidemic, but about the dangers of addiction. We've heard just say no. We've heard all the different ideas out there. Well, today you have not only marijuana, which has been around forever, you have something called, I think it's called flakka. On the way here today, we actually saw somebody that we called the police because of it, that looked like they were on flakka and moving their hands around. I've never seen anything where they almost walked into the middle of the street. Flakka, if you're not familiar, is a synthetic marijuana. So people say marijuana is not dangerous. This isn't marijuana. It's synthetic. It's made up. It's not. It's, from what I've heard, you can actually buy it in a store because it's sold as if it's an incense that you're supposed to smell and not smoke. Well, it's synthetic, it's not real, and it affects your brain, and it has some drastic effects. So it's not just heroin, it's every drug that we have to worry about. So educate. You have to educate everybody. I have 2 young children that I'm constantly trying to educate. I am scared to death. One's starting high school now, one's in middle school, and just knowing that is when a lot of kids start using and experimenting. We have to watch. We are not our kids' friends, we are their parents. We have to watch, and my parents did a great job. I know that Amber's did also, and unfortunately it still happens. We have to watch that. The third goal that I set was to celebrate recovery. You've met several people already up here that have long-term recovery. Celebrate recovery, I think, is vital to it. Understanding, and once again, it's empathy. If we would just have empathy, I think we could help a lot of people, and it could snowball on it. Celebrating recovery is understanding that these people that are addicted are sick and they need help. They are fighting every single day. Okay, just because they stop using doesn't mean, okay, I'm done, it's over with. It's not just some magic medicine that can make them stop using. They need help all the time. They are trying. They're going to groups, they're talking to people, they're helping other people. Like I said, a lot of them are able to stay clean by helping other people. So celebrate recovery. If you know somebody, celebrate it with them. That doesn't mean you're going to publicize anything about them, but celebrate, be proud of them, show the love. I mean, all my 3 goals come down to love, really. I mean, if you love people, you have to just show that respect. Respect them, show love. Like I said, it's the loss of Amber is something that's going to be a hole in my heart forever, as well as my family's. I'm grateful so much that my sister made me the godfather for Amber. I rushed in the room when she was born. I'll never forget that for as long as I live. I'm honored that she's standing up here with me. But I also want to talk about one final thing before I pass through. And that is hope. Okay, I talked about celebrating recovery. I talked about the stigma. I talked about education. There is hope. Okay, and we've seen that tonight. People with long-term recovery. I have several people in my family that suffer the disease of addiction. I'm honored. I'm humbled that they are actually going to be speaking next after me about their long-term recovery. We may have lost somebody, but we also have people that are struggling to make it every day, and they are so involved in the recovery lifestyle. I'm just so impressed to see what they can do and how they help people. And when I asked them if they would like to speak, they were humbled and honored themselves, where I'm the one that was honored that they would actually do this, that they would put themselves up here in public to speak about their stories. So I'm just honored that they were able to do this. I'm honored and I'm proud of their recovery. It's not easy, and I think they deserve, and everybody in recovery deserves, just a great round of applause. If you could give everybody in recovery a round of applause for me, please. So with that, I am speaking. The reason I'm speaking is I'm speaking for Amber, like I said. I believe in my heart and in my soul that Amber wants me to do this. She wanted to help people, and I believe in my heart she's doing it. I wrote down some stuff. I looked at the goals, and that was about it. I think I'm being spoken through, and I hope it touches somebody to help somebody. If you need help, please reach out. I'm willing to help out, and all the people at these various booths, as well as people in attendance, I know will help out. With that, I'd like to introduce 2 people that are going to talk about their recovery and the hope it is there. First, my stepbrother, Russ. Making sure I didn't break the protocol here.